Hey guys, Milo here for the Fellowship of Acoustics and welcome to yet another episode of New Arrivals. We're back here at the store. We're going to see which are our four favorite new arrivals that came in last week, and as always it's up to you to pick your favorite. And you can do so by leaving a comment down below or also vote in the poll in the community site of our YouTube page. I must say, last week your favorite was the Martin. Surprise, surprise, was the OM45 Roy Rogers. But there were also a lot of people who commented on the Novo. Also a great demo. I think it was Rowdy that played the demos last week. Right? Sounded great. If I'm a little bit chaotic this week, it is because I was up all night watching the Artemis crew fly around the dark side of the moon. So maybe we can make this a space-themed new arrivals. Let's see how far we get. I know the first guitar that I'm going to pick. It's over here, so let's start talking about the dark side of the moon. So I'm going to lay down two blue Martin cases, and these two belong together because they are a set, a signature set. I already put a lot of emphasis on dark side of the moon because this is a David Gilmour signature set of D35s. So we have a 6-string right here, and then we have a 12-string in this case.
What does this have to do with the dark side of the moon, Milo?
Because David Gilmour, of course, you know him as the guitarist and singer and songwriter for a lot of the Pink Floyd material. Dark Side of the Moon, one of the albums by Pink Floyd, right?
Of course.
One of the best ones.
Classic of classics.
So let's talk about these guitars, because these were a limited run that they made in 2021. These are also from 2021. Limited to, I believe, around 180 pieces. So this is a D35 with a 3-piece back, but the keen eye will have seen that this is not rosewood. A D35 we know it as a rosewood back and side guitar, but this is sinker mahogany. A 3-piece sinker mahogany back, sides and neck. So this is the first time that Martin did this on a D35, but you do get the D35 aesthetic on these guitars, also with the 12-string. On the label on the inside, I don't know if you can catch this, but we can see that this is number 108. And on top of having sinker mahogany on the back and side, we have a Adirondack spruce top on here, the nice grain on it. Also on the 12-string, I say let's tune them up and do a little demo on both guitars.
Okay.
Was my rendition of Wish You Were Here. I can't play the original thing because this video will get taken down. So please enjoy it in a major key. Now let's tune a 12-string guitar. 12 hours later.
What's your best rendition of Them and Us? Them and Us, yeah.
That was Them and Us. You just also heard Wish You Were There. Let's check out another D35. We can throw in the mix and we will pick one of the guitars. This is a standard D35, like we've known it through all the years. From a vintage one from 1975. Again, a nice blue Martin case. As you can see, right here we have a rosewood 3-piece back and side. What I notice now is that I don't know why they call this a D35 and not a D28. Of course, the 3-piece back, but it doesn't have the binding along the neck that you normally see on D35s. Herringbone. This is not a herringbone, as you can see, of course. This one has a LR Baggs Anthem installed and also has a new pickguard. The rest of the guitar is original. This is a great sounding and great playing D35. I love the sound of this a lot. This is a D35 sound that I have in my head. But I think the David Gilmour, of course, it is more unique. A D35 with sinker mahogany. It sounded great as well. If I didn't mention it correctly, maybe it is a set. So it is being sold as a set of 2 guitars, like a 6-string and a 12-string. I think we're going to make a demo of the 6-string. Let's do that one.
Check that one out.
So that is our first New Arrivals choice for this week. Next up, another signature, this time an electric by Music Man for James Valentine, guitarist for Maroon 5. There we go. And how do we call this finish? Starry Night.
Well, I'll be
Check it out. If this ain't a starry night. Wow, there's ball pieces on the bridge humbucker. So we have a double cut body. Double humbucker. I don't know what kind of humbucker this is. Looks peculiar. Starry Night finish with a roasted maple neck.
Nice flaming going on.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This was a limited color on these guitars. This is secondhand from 2017, and like I said, barely been played. So really good deal. We have another secondhand Collings guitar, another electric. Let's make this a round of electrics. 2025. Ooh. Nice, a City Limits in an iced tea burst. Single cut, yeah, of course it is inspired on a Les Paul. A lot thicker though.
Damn.
A thick guitar, a double humbucker, single cut, Collings craftsmanship. This is a nice top. A really subtle flame in it. That's what I like. I don't like too flamey tops. A bound fingerboard. It feels as though this might be a chambered guitar because it's not as heavy as you might think with such a thick body. And this is a guitar I've been looking forward to opening since this morning, and I hope this might be out of this world.
Ooh, nice.
We have a vintage looking case. We have a vintage Gibson electric in here. A 335.
Ooh, it looks pretty new, but.
This is a 1962 Gibson ES335 in a cherry finish.
Damn.
That is really, really cool. I've only ever seen one other 1962 ES335 in my life, and that was an incredible guitar. We have a small block inlays on here. The pickups are original, so they are PAF pickups. Not a lot of playing marks, of course, some dings and dongs, but not.
Just one. I see one.
It's not a heavy relic in sort of Murphy Lab terms. Some buckle rash, of course, but that doesn't really matter. We checked the finish briefly with a black light. Seems to be original. It looks to be original, at least as far as I can see. Of course, we're going to dive into this guitar and find out exactly if something changed or if there are any modifications on this guitar. I think we have to pick this one as our second choice, an electric for this New Arrivals. This guitar is absolutely stellar. For this next round, we aren't going to leave the stratosphere because we're going to have a look at some Stratocasters. We have two hardtail vintage Strats, and this is the first one. This is from 1975. Let's have a look at this. Ooh, damn. This is exactly how I like a Strat. I'm a real big Jeff Beck fan. Of course, Jeff Beck did have the tremolo because he's a master of that. But I like this color combination, like a vintage white with a rosewood board. Classic 70s. We have the bullet truss rod here coming out. There is another switch on here. I don't know what it does. Maybe we can check it out. So we have a three-way switch. No 5 positions. Something happens. Nothing happens. Ah, okay.
It's another little tone circuit that affects the bridge and the neck.
I think it adds the middle pickup.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do anything in the middle. But then in the neck.
Yeah, so basically it is a 5-way switch. Separated out over 2 switches.
Yeah. I like this rosewood fingerboard on this guitar a lot. Like it changes from color a little bit lighter here on the bass side, a little bit darker on the treble side. I think it's a really nice look. So we were just saying behind the camera that this looks like the Silver Sky sort of vintage white color, and then we just found out it's called Moon White, baby.
You cannot make
meant to be. Of course, we have the hardtail, as you can see here, micro tilt for the tiny adjustment to the neck. Some people really like hardtail Strats. They will say that it makes the guitar a little bit more resonant. At least it's more stable because you don't have to worry about the tremolo and bending 2 notes at the same time, something changing. It is a unique sound. It has a little bit more attack to my ears when I play a hardtail, and I like that. So let's grab the other hardtail as well. All right, here we go. Ooh, that looks really cool. Early 70s. A really worn down sunburst finish.
Yeah, that's my kind of look.
This is, look how dark, orange brown this headstock is right now. Another hardtail, like I said. This to me, this has the perfect Strat weight. Feel this? I like this.
Very light.
Yeah, not too light, but feels great. This one does have a 5-way switch, so that is a modification. A refret as well, which looks really shiny, and some bigger frets on here. No bullet coming out, so we know this is early 70s. Maybe because I just plugged in the other one. Let's briefly plug this in. It's not the greatest of amp setups here, but just so I can have an idea. Like I said, it's something about the attack of the hardtails. Pretty fierce and in your face, but I like this. Nice lightweight, feels resonant. Though I'm a big fan of the vintage white. I think this worn down look, moon white, of course. And the way this has aged, I think this is a really cool look. So I think we're going with this for our third choice for this new Rivals, and I must say I'm over the moon with my decision. We're back to the acoustics, and this is a really nice piece of guitar lutherie history. This is a Larsen Brothers production from around 1938. This is a Euphonon. Wow. So this is a 16-inch jumbo. In size you can compare it to a J185, so like a one size smaller than a J200. Love these flowers, or these, how do you call this? The lucky clover? Clover. You can see there's a tone bar inside. We saw this on, what was it called?
The Joseph Bowman.
Joseph Bowman, with also like the sympathetic like rods on the inside. This might be a similar design, like this vibrates with the rest of the guitar and adds to the tone. So the brothers Larsen, we're talking about Carl and August Larsen, built a lot of guitars under a lot of different brands. So I think this might be one of the Euphonon. I read somewhere there's also like a Prairie State brand, so we'll find out what this is exactly because it doesn't say anywhere on the guitar. They were building guitars from the late 1800s to mid 1940s, so that makes sense. This is a 1938-ish guitar. We also see Bob Dylan playing a Euphonon guitar, and the story goes that he got that guitar from Johnny Cash at the Newport Folk Festival. So I think that is a nice story. A really dark rosewood on here. Seeing this is from 1938, this might well be Brazilian. We'll also find out, you will see it on the website. It's funny that you can see here the rod being added here to the heel. Michael just said probably it's connected here and here on the end pin. Yeah. This guitar does have a sort of metallic ring to it. I don't know if that is the addition of the tone bar. It's not my personal favorite of the week, though I really love the design and I think it's a nice piece of guitar history. So if you are a fan of the Larsen Brothers, then know this guitar is up on the website pretty soon. This won't be my pick for this new arrivals, because I also saw that we had two second-hand Collings CJ, so the slope shoulders, and I think I want to have a look at those two. All right, let's start with this one. This is a 2022 CJ45T, so traditional, and this one is a 2021 CJ. Ooh, nice.
Brothers.
Yeah, from the Larsen Brothers to the CJ Brothers. Let's check them out. The inspiration for the CJ is apparent. This is a J45 inspired guitar. Let's check the backs as well. So we have slope shoulders with mahogany back and sides, like a J45.
Kind of hard to see because of all the big reflections of the window, but yeah, that's better. This one, no, that's not better. Hello. This one's a lot darker though.
Okay, yeah.
And this one's got white binding.
This one is binding. I think this is the the traditional. So a little bit of an extra flair on it with the binding. This one a little bit more simple.
It does have tortoise on the side.
Yeah, I just saw it. I really love the tortoise binding on the fretboard.
That's pretty cool.
The rosette is slightly different. Tiny differences. Let's see how they compare sound-wise. Immediately, this is my favorite of the two. So this is not the traditional, just the standard CJ. A little bit more firm low end, a little bit more open. The traditional series is also designed to have like a less shimmery highs, a more like broken in feel. That one is maybe a bit drier, but I love this is more punchy, more bold sounding. I love this a lot. This will be my fourth and final choice for this new arrival. So the CJ from 2021 it was. Beautiful sunburst and the tortoise binding, which is really nice when you're playing. fourth and final choice.
Guitars sounded really good this week. It's almost as if some universal audio was involved.
Really great. Hey guys, that was it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let us know which is your favorite of the four that we've chosen. So just a quick recap. We ended with the CJ, the Collings. We had a Hardtail 1970 Strat, a 1962 ES335 in a cherry finish, and then the set of the David Gilmour D35s with Sinker Mahogany. Michael, you have a favorite?
Well, this is a difficult one. I love myself on Dark Side of the Moon, but I think the 335, it's a real showstopper.
Yeah, I do agree. Although I really love the CJ. Great sounding acoustic guitar, but I think I have to go with the 335. But please let us know in the comments down below, and we hope to see you in the next installation of New Arrivals next week. Bye!